While Dune is a very serious movie, its cast couldn't be more entertaining.
What's up, y'all? It's Timothée Chalamet.
And Zendaya here.
I don't know how to follow that.
From writing a non-existent sandworm to talking about donuts.
What happened?
And to discussing the popcorn bucket trend.
Oh.
Let's see the Dune cast at their finest.
Have fun with it.
Have fun.
Yeah.
We'll start with the main star of the movie. Did you know that it was hard for Timothée Chalamet to transition into the role of Paul Atreides? Because he came to the set of Dune Part 2 right after finishing Wonka.
I was like, holy shit, I'm really back in Dune universe, and just having to recalibrate and not go to the mental hospital.
Yeah, it was quite a culture shock coming to Arrakis from that chocolate-filled magical land. But due to his immense talent, Timothée quickly adjusted. And all of his co-stars agree that not only his character, but also Chalamet himself grew a lot.
He's really gone from a boy to being a man, and his performance in the second film is so commanding and so powerful.
Because on the set of the first film, Timothée was very different.
You know, and he'd be like, hey, it was like a little basset hound. What's it?
Even Austin Butler noticed Chalamet's growth, although he wasn't in Part 1.
The maturity and the gravitas come out, and you get to just knock the roof off it.
And Florence Pugh, who previously worked with him on Little Women, thinks so too.
We all love him.
It's Timmy!
But Timothée himself is a pretty humble man. He can't even recall a fun fact about himself when he's put on the spot.
Fun fact about me is that...
Wait, here's something interesting you might not know about him. How do you pronounce his name? Probably wrong.
Well, honestly, it's Timothée, but I would not oblige you to say it like that. It could be Timothy or Timmy or Doug.
Yeah, it's more difficult than you thought.
My parents cursed me with that.
But he never wanted to go along with that. So yeah, let's just keep calling him Timothée or Timmy like his co-stars and friends do. One of the challenges Chalamet encountered on the set was riding a sandworm. And it wasn't because he actually had to ride one.
Obviously, the worm wasn't there on the day, so...
Nope. It was because of what would happen after filming.
When you're riding the sandworm, they have an industrial fan on your face, and they're just blasting you with dust and sand. And you find yourself going home and trying to, pulling sand out of all sorts of crevices.
Doesn't sound like a good time on the set, right? But still, there was a cast member who regretted not doing it.
You don't get to ride the sandworm.
I know.
Like, do you FOMO? Like, do you
Absolutely, I lose sleep at night.
Would you feel the same way?
I'll never forgive myself for not getting on that sandworm.
Can you imagine Paul and Feyd-Rautha riding together? That would have been quite a plot twist. And it's not the only question about these two deadly rivals.
Who would win in a fight between Elvis and Willy Wonka?
Guess we'll never know. But we do know that Butler's transformation in the film was staggering. And he couldn't be more different from his character.
And it was funny because then you would say cut and you'd be like, hey, how you doing? And I'd be like, oh, he's so nice,
Here's the best way to describe Austin's transition into Feyd-Rautha.
That was something that then he said, he was like, sometimes he looks like a baby and sometimes he looks like a killer.
An essential part of his frightening look was the absence of any hair on his head and face.
It was so liberating not having eyebrows. You don't realize how much they weigh you down.
But Austin didn't shave his head or eyebrows because he needed those for another movie he was going to be in. So Feyd-Rautha's look was done thanks to a bald cap.
It was 3 hours a day, and that was when they brought it down. It started about 5 hours.
Maybe it would have been easier to just glue fake eyebrows for that other movie. Anyway, let's talk about another newcomer in Dune Part 2. Florence came to play Princess Irulan and was blown away when she discovered who'd played her father, Emperor Shaddam IV.
No, it was like by the way, your dad is Christopher Walken. I was like, oh, well, thank God.
Yeah.
But Florence wasn't intimidated by this Hollywood icon. In fact, the two of them found something to connect on.
We were just talking about donuts.
Yeah, you heard that right.
On the final week that I was working, we were doing this massive ensemble scene where in between takes, Christopher Walken and I would be talking about which donuts we wanted to eat.
It became Florence's favorite moment from filming Dune. And now when she watches this scene, she can only think about donuts. She's sure that Walken has the same little issue. Funnily enough, Zendaya felt differently about him being on the set.
I was genuinely too nervous to talk to him. I was like,
Yeah, I didn't. Yeah.
hi sir, thanks, how are you?
Yeah.
At the same time, she always tried to look professional.
So I remember us being, like, we're in the trailer, everybody's having fun playing music, and as soon as he came, we're like
Yep.
practicing my lines.
Only after Florence shared her donut story did Zendaya figure out her possible conversation starter.
Could have said, what kind of donuts do you like?
Yeah,
Now, I know that.
But before we move on to this young lady, here's another fun fact about Florence on the set of Dune. The actress was pretty disappointed about not joining other actors in the desert, and she tried her best to get a chance to shoot some scenes there.
And I was like, Denis, what if I'm in a flashback?
He wasn't on board, but Pugh felt it was too early to give up.
And he was like, no. So I went to the producers. I was like, guys, you know Zendaya in the first one? They were like, yeah. And I was like,
So what if we
desert.
vision?
Costumes.
Yet it didn't work either.
2 days later, they're like, you didn't like that idea.
didn't
I
like
was like,
This dream wasn't destined to come true.
I tried to have sand, but no.
But a more important one did, because Florence also dreamed of seeing Zendaya in person.
I'd been dying to meet her for so long.
The two of them have known each other for some time, but only virtually.
I'd say like a year and a half, we were each other's hype women on
Yeah.
Instagram.
Like,
Like if anyone posted anything, we'd be like, you look amazing.
By the way, do you know how Zendaya landed the role of Chani? It was all thanks to her determination.
Like when I first heard that he was making this, and I watched this version, and I was like, oh, that's the character they're trying to cast. Okay, wait a minute. Hey!
She immediately contacted the studio and asked if she could play the part, but it was too early for that.
Because it was before they even started
Wow.
doing auditions or anything, but I was like, just
Well
want to
done.
put my name out there.
After a little bit of waiting, Zendaya finally got what she wanted.
And I auditioned and did my chemistry read, and yeah,
Sealed the deal.
sealed the deal.
Sure, we didn't see much of her in the first film, but the second one features her much, much more.
How would you describe the difference in working with Timmy this time around?
More time. Last time was like a week.
It was cool, but it certainly came with a challenge. Do you remember that the Freemen aren't supposed to cry even if something tragic happens?
Stilgar, and he says, don't waste your water on the dead.
It meant that Zendaya had to figure out a new way to show her emotions.
Because I'm used to like, all right, well, let's just cry, you know?
Even when she felt like crying, she had to hold back the tears. Not always was she successful.
Like I remember there's a scene where I accidentally cried, and then they had to they got rid of it in post.
Now, let's talk about another strong woman from the cast of Dune. Rebecca Ferguson tried to get one big moment from the book into the movie.
It's the communication of one Bene Gesserit to another underneath a leaf.
But there was no way they could include it. And for Rebecca, it's not even comforting to know that they might have this scene in the upcoming Dune Prophecy series.
I'm grateful for them. I mean, what am I going to be, happy for other people?
If you read the book, you probably remember the scene she's talking about. And you also weren't surprised to see the comeback of Josh Brolin as Gurney, because yeah, he didn't die in the first film. Since his character is a bard in the book, the actor had to apply his musical skills this time around. He had a collaboration with Hans Zimmer himself for that.
But I was like furiously writing and sending and writing and sending, and then he'd send me back like a picture of the Antarctic or something, and I'd be like, oh, that's wonderful, but what do you think of the thing? Focus, focus.
Brolin also had to sing, which he doesn't think he did well.
There you go.
No, that sounds
hit it.
horrible.
No, I think you got
It
it.
sounds like something's hurt.
Wait, he's not that bad?
No, that was pretty good.
That was not bad.
Thank you.
And now, it's time to face the elephant in the room and talk about the viral trend, the Dune popcorn bucket. You've seen this SNL video, right? For Josh, it wasn't something that he wanted to try out,
I'm not gonna stick my hand in there. Like, I'm good. I'll starve.
but he admitted that it's a genius marketing strategy.
We're talking about it, and that's all that matters.
That's right. However, not all of the Dune actors understood what it even meant.
But I'm not sure what's going on, what it is.
And then Rebecca got it.
Oh.
Her reaction was priceless.
Interesting, how sensual.
As for Florence, she'd say only one thing about this trend.
You said this is not okay.
It's not okay.
Then Zendaya followed Josh's example and refused to even touch this weird bucket.
I'm good.
Anybody
I'm
want
okay.
to reach in?
Yet she did discuss its functionality.
Just from a purely like eating popcorn standpoint, you can't get anything out of it.
But at the same time, Timothée was brave enough to try the thing.
Now reach in and tell me what happens when you try to. Yeah, like it's like.
Yeah, Zendaya's right. It doesn't really work as a popcorn bucket. So when you go see Dune Part 2, just take a regular one. Anyway, be sure to watch this epic masterpiece.
Everybody who's seen it loves it. Be one of those.
And if you already have, share what you think about it in the comments.